Hello, everyone. We're happy to have Matthias Meyer here with us today. Matthias, thank you so much for joining us. How is it going?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's good. Working on a couple of projects and quite excited in the moment.
Great. So my first question is, what are the benefits of Web3 technology compared to traditional web technology?
Well, I think the main difference is that we have transparency. We have a new way of ownership and interaction in a way that the traditional web couldn't provide. Main thing that is that we don't have intermediates anymore. We can have peer-to-peer transactions, and it is less the technology, I would say, but it's the applications that are built on the blockchain and creating, in a way, the Web3 environment, which is a new way of looking at things and using things. It's coming from being, let's say, just an observer to being an owner and a participant in a new way in the internet and digital space.
Okay, and what are the key differences between Web2 and Web3 technology?
Well, I think this is the main difference is very simple. It's decentralization and centralization. The Web2 is simply a centralized environment where a few entities or companies or gatekeepers or whatever you want to, however you want to name them, have controlled who, when, how can participate in a way. Especially if it comes to procedures, data that they controlled and didn't want to share. And today, with decentralization, that is actually the core, let's say, difference. Everybody can participate. You don't have these gatekeepers, and we have more a community-driven economy. We have more a shared community. Again, it's less the technology that is actually used, although applications like DAOs, NFTs, the metaverse, all these things are new, let's say, offsprings of the Web3, because before with decentralization, with central applications and controlled applications, the metaverse would be possible, but it's not useful. The people would say, why should I, let's say, go in? And we have these critics, for example, with companies like, for example, Sandbox, where they say, well, why can I not do that, in a fully decentralized way? So again, for me, it's decentralization and centralization are the opposite use forms of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what advice do you have for companies looking to adopt Web3 technology?
Well, the main thing, I think that you have to look at two sides of the coin. You really have to consider careful what it means. It's a little bit like a controlled environment in anarchy. Like you can do everything that you want and you can do nothing that you want because it's controlled and everything is planned out. So we know, as a matter of fact, that giving space without rules usually leads to very bad results. And I think that's nothing different with Web3. So we have new security threats, we have a kind of lack of consumer protections in the moment. And if somebody wants to dive into that, first of all, I think they have to understand the philosophy of it, which is, in a way, give this decentralized space, but then also providing the need that maybe if you're a brand or a company, to provide the need to still kind of protect your consumers, still kind of lead them, have a good service. This fully decentralized concepts like Bitcoin is great, but if it comes to further utilities or assets, it's becoming gradually more difficult. And I think that's the biggest challenge. And if they just jump on that, like this is the new train or this is like a toy, I think it will backfire. And it actually did already backfire for a lot of companies, that they just did that without really knowing what it is and just say, okay, Web3 decentralization, that's great. We're going to do that and we're going to go in that with our consumers.
Okay, and can you describe the key challenges you face when working on Web3 project?
It's a new and groundbreaking technology. So the first thing, it's to understand the complexity of it. It's how do you approach it, the thing that I said before, the challenges and the advantages. I also see that because it's just a new space and it's such an open space, I see a lot of participants that have less experience that they would need by participating in something like this. On top, it is a very technology-driven space still. And I have daily, actually, discussions or requests for an advisory job from developers. And they believe that writing a code solves everything. But actually, the whole thing is humans. We are there. It needs to serve us. We need to have an advantage out of it. Exactly, except if it's something fully automated, then okay, a developer can manage that, and maybe he doesn't have to apply to the consumer requirements. But this is the biggest thing. I believe that it's such a new thing. We have so many new participants. It's very difficult. We have a lot of loose ends still that need to be addressed, and a lot of, in the moment, also a lot of, I would say, fantasy and dreams that is there, and it needs to become a little bit more, back to the roots and solid. That's my challenge and the experience that I have with that.
All right. And what is your response to the criticism that Web3 technology is too complex and difficult for average user?
Well, look, every new technology is complex and difficult. So there's a learning curve. We have to go ahead with that. We have to adopt it. The only problem that we have now is that the technology is developing so fast that, a year ago, we still were all in with NFTs and all in with the metaverse. And today, NFTs are a negative word to say, and the metaverse is just, something that people already forgot. Now it's all artificial intelligence. But all these things go hand in hand. We kind of forget this. So we need to it's very difficult to learn all that, even for the people that are participating and that are actually promoting this, founders, developers and all that stuff. And we have to learn it. And the biggest issue with this is that always say we have to explain to people. It must be self-explanatory at the end. And that is, people shouldn't need to learn about blockchain or NFTs or artificial intelligence. It must be an easy way to use it.
Okay, and can you give any examples of successful Web3 projects and explain what made them successful?
I wouldn't like to say a project that was successful because, first of all, there are many successful projects and many failures, but maybe the failure was not because of the project itself. Let's say a success was the NFTs a year ago or 1.5 years ago when this started. The environment was different, the time was different. We had COVID, people were kind of locked and they were searching for something else. Today, if you want to use that success story, it won't work anymore. It's absolutely no way. So conditions are changing kind of daily. What I would say, and I'm repeating myself a little bit, is actually the main success is decentralization. So, and decentralization combined with the application. So I would say that Ethereum blockchain is a success. Decentralized storage is a success. Application, decentralized finance is a success. Like these kind of categories, I would say, are the success story of Web3, and mainly is that they include the community. Everybody that goes into there somehow, at least the early movers, and now it's becoming more and more, believed in something. They believed in the movement of decentralization, and that is the success story. And that is, for my opinion, also the rule of success. You need to apply to that, and you need to, like a brand. It's like a brand, and you see now it's like we have the Bitcoiners, we have the Ethereum people. It's like becoming a religion, things. But basically, it's this belief in decentralization, and that's a success.
Okay, I also have one unpleasant question for you. Have you ever worked on a Web3 project that failed, and what did you learn from that experience?
Of course, I would say a couple of them even. If you go into a new economy, let's say, and you are accepting failure, then the failure is not a failure. It might be a financial failure, like you invest time and you do not get the return, but the learning is rewarded that way. So I had projects, especially at the beginning, because I have a background in technology for music and copyright protection for artists. That was the big thing. Everybody thought that's the next thing. And it's not only that my projects didn't go ahead, also very big funded projects like the artist Blue and whatever, it still didn't go that way. So we made all these things, white papers, light papers, technology, concepts, everything. But even with me knowing that the environment and having a distributor, an aggregator, and an artist aside, and hundreds and thousands of them, it wasn't just the solution for it. So that failed, and an NFT project failed the last year. That we it wasn't failed, we stopped it, and now we will combine it with artificial intelligence. It's about finance and finance education. So the concept was right, the timing was wrong. So yeah, there are a lot of projects that actually they don't succeed as you wish, but that's normal in this economy.
And how do you address concerns about the lack of regulation and legal frameworks for Web3 projects?
I think that is a very important point, and I am more the advocate of the devil there. Although I really promote decentralization, I had to learn it in a way, also the hard way, because one of my first projects was with some founders of Ethereum from Consensus guys, and we created that was the first project that they onboarded with their tokenization platform. It's called Codify, and I had the concept of tokenized gold, so a stable coin, like Paxos is doing it, being more like I would say, I don't like this word, but like having the vision about it. It was very logic and very clear, not having the financial background and the regulatory knowledge about it. So I had to learn a lot, studied over 40 jurisdictions, and I understood that a great project in that way, in that case, needs really to apply completely to regulation. So I had to learn that. I worked also as an advisor with the crypto wallet, and I collaborated with a regulated financial trading platform. So I've seen, let's say, the maximum regulated environment and collaborated with them. And then I saw the absolutely decentralized thing where somebody is just doing something and then no rules, no nothing. And I believe it's something in between. And you need to know where is the legal framework, and also where's maybe a loophole with it, but where you still have to be, let's say, self-controlled and provide, as I said at the beginning, security to your clients and make this product workable. But at the end, yes, we will have some balance between regulation and innovation. And I hope the regulators are open for that. I'm head of NFT in the European Blockchain Association, and we have the chance to participate on discussions about regulations, and I have some people in my team and in the EBA are great minds that are working on that. It is a difficult task, but we need it, but hopefully not too much. In the moment, I'm negative with what is going on a little bit. For example, in the US, they want to over-regulate.
And what do you think is the biggest risk facing the Web3 ecosystem in the next few years?
The biggest? Sorry, I didn't hear the last word. Can you repeat?
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest risk facing in the Web3 ecosystem in the next few years?
Well, the first thing is a human risk. We will tend to make the same mistakes that we did before. So that we're going to make again the same mistakes again and again and again, that we don't learn from our previous mistakes. And there are patterns that we see. For example, we have a great technology and we have an unregulated environment in a financial part. I'm not talking about regulating art, NFTs, I find it useless just because it's a digital asset that they shouldn't regulate it. And it's anyway not regulated at all with anti-money laundering in the real world, for example. But then we have that, and we have bad players, right? And they are destroying this, and we have to go back and we have to, explain again and say it's good, it's not good. We have to make this, we need this. This is the problem, I think, that we are over-regulated, and that we have, or that we have not enough regulation and not enough good players, and it's kind of they're destroying or pushing it back, let's put it this way, this great achievement and the great environment that we have.
Okay, as far as I know, you are also head of NFT, right? Yes. And can you provide an overview of your role as a head of NFT and your responsibilities?
Well, this is head of NFT working group in the European Blockchain Association. This is one part, but I am quite involved in NFTs anyway. I mean, especially also kind of deep down the rabbit hole, like the founders and creators. And that's a very interesting two parts of the same ecosystem. The one are the kind of underground and makers, and the other ones are the one that want to set rules and consult and talking with the government, talking with the lawmakers, talking with providing concepts and dialogue, and that's the European Blockchain Association with other associations. So the role there is actually simple. It's not clearly defined. It's if people are interested about NFTs, can come and ask. We want to create a dialogue between the stakeholders. We want to educate, but also provide information, and here especially in the case of NFTs, to the lawmakers. We have, for example, people from the European Commission there. We have international lawmakers from the governments. And I'm playing, to be honest, a small role. The chairman and others are playing a much bigger role in supporting that. But basically what we do, we promote Web3 as a whole, blockchain, and go on events, give speeches, or provide advisory to companies or individuals. So it's a consulting and promoting job, but all free, and because we really believe that this is a great movement.
And can you provide use cases for NFTs other than art?
Yeah, I think this is what I really like most, and I think this is the development that we have. It started kind of with art, but we have the verification of authenticity of products, for example. I come from the fashion industry. We talk about this so many years, counterfeits and stuff. Today we can fully make the supply chain transparent, and NFTs as a non-fungible certificate can provide information from right the source until the final client, and even with smart contracts combination, automate distribution from fund and profits. This is great. We can have generally an ownership of digital assets, which is interesting. There, of course, it's difficult for, let's say, real estate, that we don't have a registry that still accepts that, but we will have the tokenization, and we can create kind of a unique currency with it, or memberships and all this stuff. So everything that is, as it says, non-fungible, it's a unique item and digitized, actually is then in the category of NFTs, and that has no limits. Most of the people just look at art, but again, identity, ownership, certifications, these are the use cases that I'm looking in, because I always look to combine blockchain, NFT, Web3 in general with real-world assets. And there it becomes then a little bit more complicated, because you need to combine both worlds.
All right, Matthias, I have last question for you for today. What excites you most about the future of Web3 technology?
Well, I think it's exactly this. We have kind of a revolution, from my opinion. I think now, it was always, we had the industrial revolution, digital revolution. I think that the Web3 is actually the real revolution that can be compared with the Industrial Revolution. We really have a new distribution of power and ownership and a much more democratic approach. We have more sharing economy. What I find amazing, and that's why I'm actually so active in this, in kind of advising and advisory positions, this new generation of, actually your generation of people, you have such a much better approach of how to conduct business. I cannot say in general, but basically the people that are participating in Web3 have a sharing idea, have a community idea, and want to implement values that we did not. Maybe the values we had, but we didn't have the technology and the tools to implement them. And this is the combination. So today, the Web3 and the technology is able to migrate a philosophy into a digital currency or a digital product. And this is amazing. And because it is not a lifespan of a human, we have the first time, I think, in history, the possibility that something continues and mistakes will not be repeated by humans, because the philosophy and the approach and the values are implemented in something that is going beyond a human lifespan. And that's something that really amazes me. Just thinking about that is great. And really, it's amazing me the people like you that are doing this now, and they're pushing it forward and take the risk and are in this space. It's something great.
Amazing. Thank you, Matthias. It was really nice to talk to you today.